is a man who went 29 of 37 for 341 and 4 tuds on Sunday night. Is that good? You tell me. He was called into question about his shit talk during a game, whether or not it was bulletin board material, and said, I don't take back anything I say. Look at the stats. Matt Nagy at halftime was asked by the on-field reporter, hey, what are you guys going to do in the second half? He said, I'm having so much fun. Aaron Rodgers heard that and said, you mocked the belt in the first quarter. This guy's having so much fun. Flipped the switch in the second half. Absolute domination of the Chicago Bears. Ladies and gentlemen, quarterback and reigning MVP of the NFL for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
Pick him up and put him down.
Wow.
That is awesome, dude. That is awesome. That's amazing.
Did you send me this shirt?
I don't think so, but
Somebody said it was in my locker this morning, so I said, I'm wearing this today.
You look good. Epitome of Yinzer will be happy about that. At Yinzer.
Hey.
Yinzer will love it.
Congrats to you and the boys, man. I haven't talked to you since the news broke. Couldn't be more happy for you guys. Couldn't happen to better people, harder workers in the business. And I watched that, and I was texting with you last week, but I watched that video that you put together, and it's that gets you a little misty watching that, man.
Well,
I know you did as well. I know you talking about your folks and all the people that helped you. That was really special, man. Good for you. Good for the boys, and good to see you guys be well taken care of for at least the next 3 years.
Well, I think that type of money obviously is going to take care of us for a long time. But thank you, Aaron. Honestly, thank you, Aaron. Thank you for the love and the kind words last week via text, and the conversation was very nice. And we can't thank you enough for your time and your appearances on here in different shirts sporadically throughout the season. You're the fucking man, and we are eternally grateful for you, pal. Pick them up and put them down. Let's continue to do that every single Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Let's dive right into it. Chicago Bears. Is there just teams and schemes and places that you play better against, you think? Or why do you always seem to have a good game against the Chicago Bears?
Well, I've had a good run against a few teams. There's, I don't think it's been just one specific team, but I don't know. I mean, they were missing, obviously, Mac and Akeem was out. But it was one of those strange games where we needed to perform on offense. We were started really, really slow in the first quarter, and then a bunch of crazy stuff happened. We hit a touchdown on a 4th and 2, and then have a pick 6, and thinking, okay, now we settle in. Now we're up 14-10. This thing's going to go our way. And then they hit a little touchdown, and we punt, and Grant takes it back
96 yards. What is he doing? What is he doing?
He's the only guy I've ever seen take a ball out of the end zone on a punt. I mean, and he should too. He's incredible. Yeah. I mean, he is an incredible returner. But then we put together some really important drives. The 2-minute drive to score out of the second half. 6-minute drive to score, and then in the fourth quarter, that drive that took up 7 or 8 minutes to put the game away. Offensively, we just got into a groove. Dennis Kelly stepped in for Billy Turner and did a really nice job. Obviously, we got the ball to Devontae. Big Dog had a bunch of yards. Showed up. Alan Lazard had a really nice game, and both our backs contributed a lot as well.
Hey, you mentioned scoring on 4th and 2. When you were running that play on 3rd down, did you know this is 4-down territory?
No, I didn't. I mean, I felt good about the 3rd down call. Probably just didn't get the throw in the air quick enough. But I looked over the sidelines, and it didn't seem like there was any question on Matt's mind whether or not we should go for it. He called a really nice play, and luckily, I was able to put the ball in a good spot. Roquan kind of, and the linebackers were playing so tight the line of scrimmage, it was kind of an RPO, and was able to sneak that in there, but just in time.
What do you mean, kind of an RPO?
Well, it was a complex RPO. It wasn't just a lot of RPOs. You're reading one specific guy. There's like one guy who's not blocked. There's there could be a defensive end. There could be a inside linebacker, but that kind of determines whether or not you throw the ball. This was not. This was a run with a run solution attached to it. So not exactly an RPO traditionally where you're kind of reading a technique or a linebacker or a specific defender.
Did you give us a bullshit answer there for competitive advantage purposes?
No, I didn't. That was a real answer.
That was a great answer then, man. That was really good. I feel like I really learned some stuff there. Let's talk about a couple situations.
That country had popular, not popular, but held belief by certain individuals.
I thought you were misleading us there for a second.
Pretty straight shooter.
Chris Collinsworth said that.
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, Chris Collinsworth got buried for saying that, but whatever the case, there's always going to be people that don't like you. Let's talk about a couple of things. Yeah, you talked about knowing
immunization. You got to you do an immunization protocol, then you champion yourself as immunized. I'm not sure what you guys would call it, but multiple week, month immunization protocol. And then you, at the end of that, say that I'm immunized. I'm not sure what people would call it, but yeah, it seemed like.
Well, you're jumping right back in the fire. Whatever the case, you do whatever you got to do. That's your own. That's not mine, and I appreciate you doing whatever you're doing. Let's talk, though, about a later fourth down decision. Because you talk about this one, 4th and 2. Later, there was a time where you and LaFleur were obviously speaking on the sideline. And I put out a tweet to remind myself, was LaFleur actually saying, like, hey, listen, do you want to kick this or you want to go for this? Because there was a time in the playoffs where I got absolutely murdered for making this decision. I think you said, let's kick it. You send Mason out there to go up 11 or maybe, I think it was to go up 11 there. Has that been the type of conversation that has always happened between you and LaFleur, or was it just spotlighted on Sunday Night Football in that situation?
Well, we were kind of running low on the play clock the previous play, so we kind of got the line of scrimmage, and we're going to call a timeout, and just wanted to make sure that we made the right decision there. It's been a back and forth game. There've been some wild plays that have happened. They've obviously been effective on offense and teams, but I thought it was important for us to go up 2 scores in that situation. So I think we made the right decision.
Hey, what did you think of seeing Justin Fields now play for a second time? I know he had a great response. The pick 6, he comes down, throws a laser that goes for a touchdown, I believe, on the next drive. Like, what did you think now you've seen him play twice?
I think he's a really talented kid. I think he's, he can obviously, he's got a good arm on him. He can really move around and extend the plays and make plays outside the pocket. The most important thing for young players is to continue to work on the little things and the little details. There's always, even as an older player, every year you go back and you kind of watch the previous year's film and try and work on one specific thing during the, during training camp and in the off season. It's, I think he's asking too much to focus on. I got to change, 6 different things and improve. Take 1 or 2 things you really want to work on the off season. Could be ball handling, could be footwork in the pocket, just little things to improve on. And if you start stacking years and years of really trying to work on 1 or maybe even 2 specific things, you can really become the star. And he has, he has a lot of star qualities with his presence and his ability. Are
you in a kitchen right now? It feels like they're running French toast and some potential, little B's and G's bound there in the back. Is that what's going on over there?
There's some ambient noises going on here.
It's beautiful.
Ed Berry's over here.
Money team.
He can't keep his, he's munching on some Captain Crunch or something. Food's touching the side of the bowl every 2 seconds.
Hey, he's getting every fucking last one. Is it the berries? Is he trying to get the berries out of the bottom there? That's amazing.
Oops, all berries? Yeah, it might be that. I don't know.
All right, it's awesome. It's amazing. I remember the last time after the game you talked to Justin Fields, and I don't remember if it was on the field or off the field, but you told him, like, hey, cherish this rivalry. Like, this rivalry is a real thing. And I think you legitimately, whenever you were telling us about it, you wanted him to treat it, like, hey, this deserves a little bit more respect than every other game. These are 2 franchises that have been battling for a long, long time. So whenever you get flipped off by the Bears fans and then you let them know that I am the landlord of your entire football existence, like, that's good for the rivalry, I think. How about when old buddy does the belt right in your face? I mean, like, right in your, because normally when we ask you about the belt, it's happened 4 other times this season. The teams have gone on to lose. Obviously, Chandler Jones did it. The Cards were up 7-0. They ended up losing 24-21. Jamal Adams did it when you guys were just up 3-0. Would go on to go 17-0. Robert Quinn, obviously, scoreless, goes on to win 45-30. He did it again previously in the year via Matt Schneidman. You saw that one. Was that a shot to your heart? And were you like, you know what? I'm going to play football better because this guy just did this in my face, dude?
I really thought this was going to go one or two ways. That was not a good decision, or the narrative would be, somebody finally did the belt and backed it up, and they got after us. It's been pretty one sided though. I think for the most part. I'm glad people aren't getting hurt doing it anymore, but it's been pretty one sided with that. But I like Robert. I enjoy competing against him. He's had a great season. He really has. And he's had a phenomenal season. Like he's got 13 and a half sacks or something like that. I mean, he's had a Pro Bowl caliber season, and I enjoy competing against him.
I love that he did it right in your face. Honestly, I do. I enjoy it. Like that is.
It's a compliment. It's an ultimate compliment to you, I feel like.
It is. There's not many guys that have their own celebration that people just love to throw back in your face, right?
Well, I mean, you're Aaron fucking Rodgers, dude, and that discount double check started coming out, and then the belt got bigger. The biggest one you've ever done was in Chicago for the entire Midway. I think that was the largest championship belt ever. But let's talk about a couple of those plays, because that throw back to Aaron Jones, that was filthy. Absolutely filthy. Now I'm hearing via reading the internet that was a callback to 2005 when old Farvey threw one to Amon in a preseason game or whatever. And this is just now another thing added to the long list of your recall is ridiculous. When are you thinking of this, that in 2005 when Farvey did this against the Buffalo Bills in a preseason game to Amon and they score a 12-yard touchdown when you get through all your reads and you throw it back when you're rolling out to the right? Is that live in the play? Is that while you're practicing the play? Is that as you're calling the play? When do you think about all this shit?
You just kind of lock that one away. I mean, I remember watching that play going, man, how would you even begin to think about getting back to that guy? That'd be fun to be in that mental space one day. And every now and then, I think you just remind yourself when you go back and watch some film from certain games, if this situation comes up where it's a design rollout, you get pulled up or you pull up for some reason, you never know what could be going on the backside or when you can get back to that guy. And so it's always kind of in the back of your mind. This play was more of a designed potentially pull up and throw to Big Dog. And when I pulled up, the corner from the backside, I believe it was Johnson, went to double Big Dog, and I just happened to see Jonesy sneaking out, and for whatever reason, he wasn't supposed to turn it up. He just kind of turned it up, and right as I got to about the throwing spot, I saw, I believe it was 98, kind of hanging, and so I just put a little more loft on it just to hopefully get over his head, and Aaron Jones makes the difficult catches look very easy. And obviously he did the rest, but that was a fun play just because, coaches spend all this time, creating these plays and drawing these things up, and then we go to practice. And I remember watching Peyton talk about this on one of his detail breakdowns of a game, and he was laughing how, this is just how they drew it up in practice, and every single time, they're scheming us up for the look team to have this guy be wide open and begin the game, and it doesn't happen anywhere near how he schemed it up all week, and that was the case in this situation. So the joke is always you come back, and I saw Matty on the sidelines of the floor, and I was like, hey, just how you draw it up, right?
Classic. Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt. Hey! Did you know at the age of 30, your testosterone levels start dropping 1% per year? Wow! That means you're gonna get fatter, more tired, and lose the strength that you once had. But no worries, our friends at Roman have the perfect product for you, so you can get back to banging weights, banging humans, and living your best life. $15 off right now. Get Roman.com/USA. Back to the action. Hey,
what was going through your head when you saw the ref actually call an offensive PI on Devontae? Did you have any words with him?
No, I didn't. I was surprised the ball down the left sideline that wasn't a PI on Johnson. But I don't think Devontae didn't seem like he was arguing too much, so I could tell right away that he thought it was on him. And I'd missed the throw outside by about a foot, so I was more mad about missing the throw in that situation. But I will give Johnson credit, number 33. He's really become a good player. He's a solid corner. He does star coverage where he goes, he'll go side to side with the star receiver. like many guys, if Tay is in the slot, he won't always go in the slot on him, it's not a knock on him at all. It's just that, usually the slots and slot corner, nickel corner cover that guy in there. But he's become a really, really solid corner, and I think deserves a lot of attention for the Pro Bowl because I think he's had that type of season.
Okay, so I didn't really know of him, and that's on me. I guess I should have watched more film, but I'm not playing against the Bears, and the Bears aren't going to be around in the end. The only conversation is, why is Nagy and Pace still there? That's what the Bears conversation is, so I don't dive into this. But when I saw him traveling with Devontae, and in the first half, it seemed like he had a lot of success. I was like, damn, like this guy is – second half, do you and Devontae talk at halftime, and you're like, okay, we're going to do a fake – fade right to a post for a touchdown. We're going to leave it. Like, is that a conversation that happens at halftime where you guys recognize, okay, this guy's having some success against us. What do we need to do? What can we change to get in there? And how quickly can that conversation take place?
Well, that's the beauty of the conversations that happen on the sideline and how important those little things can be. Right before we went out for the 2-minute drive, I believe the drive started with a little over 2 minutes, but Getsy was he said, what are you thinking about this drive? And I said, we got to move Tay around. And he's like, oh, yeah, I was just going to tell you, we got to let's think about some plays with Devontae in the slot because we feel like that could give us some good matchups. So, we had a couple completions early in that drive and then hit Allen for about 15 on just kind of a quick, vertical peak. And I, ripped the timeout. And I was thinking about what is the best route to take a shot on this play where we can protect it because Dennis was in. I wanted to make sure he felt comfortable and then give us the best opportunity. So I moved Quez on the same side as Devontae and gave Tay kind of an out and up on that play, which he hadn't really run. I can't remember the last time he run an out and up, more or less really an out from the slot. So luckily, it all worked out. Marquez on that play deserves a lot of credit because he was smoking it down the left side and drew not just Jalen Johnson that side, but also the safety attention. And Devontae did a nice job on his route, took his head back on the out, and I was able to put him in a good spot. And then he does just, kind of the smoothest catch, avoid, walk in the end zone that you've seen in a while. A lot of times, that guy either gets drilled or he drops the ball because he knows safety's bearing down on him. But not only did he make a miss, but I think Eddie drilled the corner on the nickel on that play when he was chasing Tay. So I mean he's a different type of player. The conversation about the touchdown that happened on our last possession was definitely a halftime conversation.
Well, hey, what were you saying? They showed you after the game talking to Jakeem Grant. What did you say to him, and did you have any idea he would have such a huge impact on that game?
I mean, look, if we're not playing and the Bears game is on, if it's a punt, I'm definitely watching the play because this guy is so exciting. Ever since I saw him, they showed a clip, I think when we were playing him the first time, and I saw him catch a ball in the end zone on a punt. Yeah. I said, this guy is unbelievable. I need to watch this.
The confidence. Think about the confidence that day.
Oh gosh, the confidence is incredible. But a punt return with him in the game is must-see TV. It really is. I'm just shaking my head watching that. He catches the ball on the 5-yard line. I'm thinking, at some point, this guy, we got to be able to get him down, right? And then he kind of stumbles a little bit. I'm thinking, oh, this is good. This is good. And when he flipped field, it was like, see ya. There ain't nobody catching this guy. And they flipped him that little pass when he went in motion, which is basically a punt return for the first long touchdown of the game. I just told him, I mean, he's a little guy. He's probably 5'7", 5'8", but man, I just told him how much I enjoy watching him play. And there's guys you pull for across the league, even when you against your rivals, but because they're exciting to watch, and you'd pay money to watch this guy play ball, and then he'd probably be a guy that I'd pay money to watch return punts for sure.
Yeah, your special teams certainly has to tighten up. All right, I mean, I saw it in like the first quarter. I was watching some coverage, and I saw a bunch of people stacking behind each other, and I'm like, this can't be happening this late into the season. So they're going to have to do that. And after his long return, I mean, the game was, going a different way. I mean, it was like, holy hell, everything is going the Bears' way right now. And they show your face a lot. You seem to have this, I think you had your hands in your jersey. You know, you didn't have the turtleneck on, you know, so it was a little bit of okay, it's not that cold, I guess. But you always have this, like, just super chill, like, hey, it's all going to be okay. Is that how it is internally? And is that something you have to work on? Is that something you've worked on throughout your entire
stoned.
career? Yeah, well, you do appear to be stoned. Yeah, I mean, that is something that I would say. But it does feel like you are just in a different universe almost whenever all that shit's happening.
Yeah, well, I was basically trying to astral project myself into the stands, and I was able to do that. And then they found me somehow. They found me in the stands. That was an astral projection of my own body, with a filled-in beard. Great beard, by the way, really nice.
Great beard.
Yeah, there's the picture. Yeah, you know, I think the point is always to keep up the positivity on the sideline, to not let them know where you're feeling. Every now and then, I mean, look, you're human. You know, they've caught me saying the F word probably so many times on TV, or saying, you know, I've said, you know, crazy things that they've picked up for sure. But for the most part, I think I'm a little bit more zen and centered the last few years, and realizing that, you know, everybody's always watching the quarterback and the coach, and, you know, Matty, you know, to his credit and to, you know, to sometimes his own emotional instability, you know, he runs kind of hot sometimes. So if he's going to be hot and animated, I got to be the cool one. If I'm going to be hot and animated, you know, he's got to be the one to simmer down a little bit.
Have you ever seen him without the freshest of fades, by the way? He is always perfectly faded up. His face is always, I mean, it is. I met his barber sent us a couple messages. I guess there's a team barber out there that keeps LaFleur super fresh. I mean, he is always the freshest.
Great eyebrow game, right? I mean, the eyebrows are amazing. You know, I want to take this time to give a shout out to his wife, Bree, because much like AJ knows with some other coaches back in the day, who I won't mention, but there's many coaches who would really have a hard time getting through life without their wife. You know, because a lot of these guys kind of grow up.
98%.
They're scholarship guys. Some don't know how to do laundry or iron clothes or prepare their own food without going to the freezer for some Hot Pockets. So big shout out to Bree. She's a great wife, great mom. They got two really cute boys who I got to see before the game, Ty and Luke. And but Matt's a great guy, and he's well put together on game day. But behind every great coach is a wife pulling all the strings, I think, to make him look good. So big shout out to Bree.
Shout out to all the coaches' wives. And let's talk real quick about there was a guy that looked like you that was in the stands, man. You just alluded to it, and you said you just astro planted yourself in the crowd there for a little bit. He appeared to be on he's allegedly a Canadian Bavarian fella who currently lives in Germany. Have you met this man yet? Have you talked to him yet? And at what point were you told that the internet was falling out of their chairs about this guy watching the game in Lambeau?
Total plant. That was a total plant by NBC, I'm sure.
How did they find that guy? I mean, it was unbelievable.
And I didn't realize when somebody sent me that, it was like, that was during the game that they found that, and they put multiple, you know.
8 minutes? It was 10 minutes of that thing. I mean, that wasn't hit. The
thing that makes me think he might have been a plant is, doesn't he turn to the camera and acknowledges the camera?
He points at it.
But also, I mean, if
has he got his SAG card? I mean, I feel like
it'd be great hiring, great casting. But I think if a camera was just staring at me, you know, weirdly, and I was potentially smoking the same things or drinking the same things that this guy had, I think I would be like, hey, what the hell's going on? I wonder if he knew as well. Seems like a really cool guy. We've seen him on the internet.
Great guy.
Let's talk about.
What about the other doppelganger, though? Wasn't there somebody that looked just like Bill Burr, the comedian?
Cameron, the punter for the Houston Texans. Yeah, it was a good day.
I saw that one. That one was a dead-on one, too.
Hey, Bill Burr's coming in studio on Friday. I can't wait to hear what that's going to be like here. I mean, he's
Say hello for me.
Do you know Bill?
I got to meet him when he came out to Green Bay a few years back and do some comedy. Yeah, I enjoy him.
Legend. Absolute legend icon. I made him laugh one time at a Rough and Rowdy, and I put that as my Twitter bio. Made Bill Burr laugh one time, just because that's how high I hold him in regards. It's the day before the Patriots and Colts on Saturday, so he's going to be, it's going to be fucking unbelievable. Can't wait for that. Let's talk about the coverage, though. Collinsworth was talking about a lot of conversations he had with you, I think, behind the closed doors, alongside conversations he had with Gunther Kuntz and LaFleur, and he said, and Al Michaels, who's an absolute legend, as is Collinsworth, they said, we have nothing scientific to prove to you that Aaron. What if I would have died right there? What if I would have died right there?
Wouldn't have been good.
Terrible. Do you get the rest of the money from FanDuel?
That's what I'm saying. And what about the donations? Those are still going through, right? And all the boys, you guys still got your stuff. I just want to let everybody know if I do die in the middle of asking a question. He was talking about, though, about how they have no scientific proof, but coming out of the conversation, they feel a lot more positive about Aaron and Green Bay sticking together. And then he said that you told him that you didn't want to drag it out. You kind of wanted to get it done quickly. And Gunther Kuntz and you have a much better relationship. It was a lot of the coverage in the second half was talking about you, your future with Green Bay. Has that been every conversation with every commentator that's come in, just asked about that? And how do you feel how do you feel about that situation currently with what Gunther Kuntz has brought in, where the team is at, your relationship with him allegedly as soon as you got back on the field after a lot of days off because of the toe and COVID, you went right up to Gunther Kuntz, dapped him up. Packers fans were super pumped about that. Where are you mentally with all of that? And is that the only thing the commentators ask you about now?
No, look, it's going to be one of the questions for sure moving forward as we get late in the season. I understand that, and I got a question after the game if it was my last time playing against the Bears, and I haven't thought about that a whole lot. I really haven't. I think when you're a creature of habit during the season, your focus definitely narrows. But at some point there'll be obviously time to reflect on that and to think about the season. But I think that's weeks and weeks and weeks away. So. In the meantime, I don't know that Chris talked to Brian. I don't usually GMs. I don't think do production meetings, but there was a lot of questions from all Catherine, Al, and Chris and Freddie about that idea of where I'm at mentally with the team, and I don't want to overshare in those situations just because I feel like just like during the off season, a lot of those conversations need to stay between the people involved with them. But it's been a good year conversation between Brian and myself. I feel like I've been involved in a lot of conversations about certain individuals on the squad and also on other squads and making our team better. Obviously, there's been some acquisitions that I think have really helped out and paid dividends. Rasul Douglas, being as big as any of them, but Devondre Campbell as well. I was thinking about it after the game the other night. The beauty in the game and why I feel romantic about it from time to time is the redeeming qualities that a team can have. The redeeming nature of bringing guys back into the fold who weren't really wanted by other teams and making them feel like they have a real home. And it's that restoring of dignity opportunity that I think every locker room and team has a chance to do based on the personnel that comes in and the type of personalities that those individual players have. But we've had a lot of guys who I think were kind of outcast guys or afterthoughts at times, whether they're draft picks who got passed over by a number of teams or drafted later than they thought they were going to be drafted, or players who are on the street who weren't wanted by teams. There's been a decent amount of those guys who we've acquired over the years, and I think when you add enough of those guys together and you make them feel like they're a part of something special, you can really create a tight, cohesive group. And you look at the guys that are making a big impacts for us on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of those type of guys, not just the Rasul Douglases and Devondre Campbells of the world, but Preston Smith coming back and taking a pay cut and setting aside his ego and his pride. And I think he's had such an important impact on our team, not just from a production standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint. On offense, we just plugged in Dennis Kelly, who wasn't really wanted by a lot of teams, and he had a very nice game for us. Aaron Jones was a late round draft pick, who a lot of people didn't think was ever going to be a number one pick. Look at our offensive line. We have Josh Neishman at left tackle. We have John Runyon Jr. at left guard, Lucas Patrick at center, Royce Newman and his mullet at right guard, and Dennis Kelly at right tackle. A lot of those guys were either undrafted, drafted late, or not thought of as guys who are going to be contributors to our football team, especially not starting the season out, other than maybe Lucas, who was expected to start for us at one of the interior positions. And that's I think that sets an attitude in the squad of guys who are able to set aside their ego and have some sort of chip on their shoulder and have some appreciation for coming together and being a part of chemistry in the locker room and togetherness and connectedness. And it's similar to the teams that AJ was on that were our best teams over the years, 2009, 2010, 2014, where we had a really tight locker room. And it's a good feeling coming to work every day.
So you love being a Green Bay Packer right now, yeah?
I love playing ball, man.
Oh, he's loving ball. Loving ball. This guy loving ball. I love that. Go ahead, Ty. That's got to be great to hear, by the way.
Yeah, it is awesome. Aaron, first and foremost, another incredible game.
Attaboy, Aaron.
It was really fun to watch. I can't remember if it was late first quarter or the second quarter. You carried out one of, if not the most beautiful play action in the history of football when you hit Big Dog down there. Is that like a dying art, do you think? How often are you practicing like carrying out the fake like that in practice? Because it seems like a lot of these younger guys, like that really isn't like a big – I mean, is it a dying art?
I think it is, and I'm glad you asked this, Ty. You always ask great questions.
Boy, Ty.
Great sweater on today as well.
Hell yeah.
It's a great opportunity to give a shout-out to another Pittsburgh guy who loves to pick him up and put him down. Alex Van Pelt. And Coach Van Pelt came to me one offseason, and this is piggybacking off another answer I gave earlier about trying to improve on one thing. And he said, I want you to become a better ball handler. So we're going to work hard on your fakes, your 2-and-1 fakes, your skip fakes, because you can be a lot better at that. And I said, sweet, I'm looking forward to the challenge. So we actually used to watch some of AVP's old pit tape, and man, he had incredible fundamentals and sleight of hand. And I enjoyed watching that stuff. I really did. It was a lot of fun. Going back and looking at that stuff. But I feel like that year really improved my fundamentals, ball handling. And that is my favorite fake by far. It's like, we call it like a guitar fake, as you're just kind of holding that ball on the notch and allowing that hand to slide through. The important thing is to make it look the exact same as your quarterback for so long did, to make it look the exact same as the run. So when you're running power or pop, where you're pulling a guard, to make sure it looks all the same. But I got to give credit to Alex, because the patience of taking 2 hops after it, the letting the head go through, is all part of the fundamentals of a good fake. And thankfully, I had AVP there to tell me that.
Okay, so you said you couldn't wait to get into a headspace one day to make it all the way back to the running back on a rollout to the right to Aaron Jones like Farvey was to Amon. Then now you're talking about the headspace of this play action where you had to commit your entire being to that. I mean, there's a chance you get murdered right there, right? I mean, there is a chance you get absolutely murdered. Have you ever felt this confident about playing football as you feel right now and how you're playing right now?
Look, one of the first times I ever did the fake, we were playing Chicago at home, and Willie Young was a D-end. And one of the greatest celebrations. He did for a long time. He did the fishing one where he'd kind of throw his rod out, And I remember the last thing I wanted him doing was sacking me on the guitar fake, and I just told myself right before the play, I said, I just got to commit to it fully. And I committed to it, and he was free on the backside. He kind of come up the field, and I got him to take the bait and to go after the back on that and up throwing a completion. And he kind of smiled at me after the play, like that was pretty good. And we tried to get him later in the game, and he didn't go for it. I was able to kind of throw the ball away. But one time, a couple years ago, we were playing against Nick Bosa, and I think it was a couple years ago, and we ran that play, and that took a lot of commitment too, because the ends and in the San Francisco scheme, I've always loved to just jet up the field, and I just feel like one of these times I'll be doing it and just get absolutely drilled in the back is definitely possible. But I really thought in that game that was possible, and just the commitment though. It's tough you can't see the ball and you're looking at the quarterback who's kind of falling his eyes, and you always it's been working.
Nobody does it anymore. It's kind of like a lost art almost. The handoff is all the play action is just kind of procedural now.
Well, you know who I think is a real good ball handler? It's Baker Mayfield. If you watch his fakes, I think he does a really nice job with his fakes. Alex is in Cleveland, so I believe he's probably kind of involved, maybe indirectly in helping him with that. But I think Baker does a really good job with ball handling, and he'll do some fakes, and I'll be like, oh, it looks like AVP,
That fucking play action guru, AVP, fresh out of Pittsburgh. Put that down as another thing that Pittsburgh has absolutely, dominated. And no big deal. How you doing? Keep moving. Last night was a display of Pittsburgh with Aaron Donald taking on James Conner. That's neither here nor there. What'd you say?
Iron City, bro.
Hey, you're goddamn right. What are you wearing that shirt all about? And then you said you're not going to play. Nah,
Steelers next year.
I'm not. AJ, you can't say that. You're one of his closest friends. You literally.
I just said it.
What'd you say?
I said Steelers next year, right?
Hell yeah.
Is that why you wore that shirt?
Oh, AJ, we don't need to get into leading journalism around here, okay? The shirt was a gift. He's wearing it.
Hey, did you cut your toe off yet?
There it is. Let's get into it. Yeah, because the commitment
How's
of
it
this.
going?
How is the body? How's the toe?
Body's pretty good. I mean, the toe was definitely hurting after the game Sunday, but it is what it is. It's not going to be a problem. I don't think it's not going to stop me from playing. It's just pain management. So, but I'm going to keep playing and probably not practice a whole lot unless there's significant improvement. It was great. The bye week, man, was amazing to be able to get that thing healed up for almost 2 weeks. But you go out there and play and run around and try and do some things. It's just going to be painful after the game.
Aaron, do you think that you shouldn't have said that if somebody was to step on your broken toe, that would hurt because of competitive advantage? You know what I mean? I saw the internet say, why is he letting people know that if they were to step on his broken toe, it would hurt him more? Isn't he just setting himself off to be a target? Maybe you ever think about that? Maybe competitive.
There has been some issues at times with individuals getting really, really cold feet and not being able to know what they're stepping on. So that's not out of the realm of possibility. I totally understand that. I also felt the need to, revise, story that was out there about me about having lesions on my feet. Because of that, I shared more information about the specifics of my injury. If people want to step on my feet, I get stepped on all the time. I got a Band-Aid on my shin because I got kicked in the shin. That's just kind of standard playing football. You're going to get stepped on, you're going to get rolled up on or kicked or whatever. Most of the time unintentionally. Every now and then it's more questionable based on the heat index of your toes. But
listen, I don't want to step on your toes here, okay? I don't want to step on your toes, but your toughness and athleticism doesn't get talked about ever. And whatever.
Look, if we keep talking about my toes, you can bet that Rex Ryan's going to be watching.
All right. He is a toe expert. He said it himself the other day on Get Up for one of the most magical moments in television history, and we appreciate him for that. It is now time for maybe my favorite part of my academia week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get a chance to learn about things happening outside of my sphere, things that I would never know about. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the 15th edition of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club. Drum roll, please. This thing started way back. We had no idea that this would continue. We thought it was kind of a joke. There's no way anybody that watches our show would continue to read books alongside this brainiac, Aaron Rodgers. It started with The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, coming through in a big-time way. Loved his readings. And then we went through The Daily Stoic, The Power and Now. Obviously, Baumgartner, a co-host of Good Morning Football with the history of The Office. And then the last book was The Answer Is by Alex Trebek. The 14th book, not the 15th, like I said, to introduce this entire thing, of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club is...
The Razor's Edge.
Oh.
Ernest
There you go.
Razor's Edge. This is a book that I actually read over the bye week. It was a book rec by a longtime friend of mine, Joey. This is a fiction book. Pat, I know you're more into the fiction than the nonfiction, but it's about it's set in the early 20th century, kind of the first half of the 20th century, and it's about a guy who goes out in search of truth and meaning. So very similar to some of your new favorite books, Pat. Power of Now and Be Here Now, and You Are the Universe. You've been sidebarring me a lot about, how impressed your wife is with all the reading you've been doing. So
thank you.
Big shout out to your wife as well. Great lady.
Shout out.
Yep. But excited for you to read this one because I think there's a lot of Larry, the main character, in you.
Wow.
As you have gone out on your own journey in search of truth and meaning. So, Razor's Edge, check it out. I'm sure it's at all your, Barnes & Noble, online, order wherever you want to. But
I think I've read some of that. Work hard, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Razor Ramon, Razor's Edge. Can't wait to read that. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. You're the absolute man. Good luck the rest of the way. Congrats on being #1 in the NFC. Congrats on the book club. Can't wait to read Razor's Edge. Let's close this thing out with a little jam set, shall we? Hi, pick him up, put him down.
Bring it in, Ed. Get Ed off his...
My
sounds like he's
out of reach,
Skyping.
so you're going to have to give me something.
Okay, well, how about we tell Ed to shut the fuck up? Hanging on the balls, enough is enough. He doesn't even know that a convo is happening. All the fucking racket in the back from Ed's a bitchin'.
Was there a lot of background noise?
Yeah, I mean, Ed's out there playing the fucking bongos.
He was sound like he's on a Zoom tubing
call,
back there. There's multiple voices.
This guy. Sorry,
Man.
he's still the man. So are you.
Can't take this guy anywhere.
Yeah. We
I know,
appreciate
Ed.
you.
Come on, snap it up, Ed.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey,
See?
maybe.
He wants to come in the shot now, but I'm going to hang out before that.
Well, it's going
Ed.
to make too
Pop
much
in there,
noise.
Ed.
I mean, you were already all over this thing
Let him pop in there.
audio-wise. Might as well get in there a little video money, team, Ed.
Hey, AJ, when you
Nope. Told you. You knew he had nothing.
That used to be my thing, by the way. I'd call people and say, "Oh my God," and then I'd hang up. And then they wouldn't hear from me for years. It was like,
That was the thing a couple years ago. Remember, guys would call him, and then that whole deal.
Yeah. Hey, I'll call me back. I'll call you back or something like that. That was a big thing. Let's get to a break here. Let's get out of here. Shout out to the money, Ed. Big money team, Ed.
Shout out.
Fucking love that guy.
Everyone shut the hell
He
up.
does need to shut the fuck up.